Hello, it is Wednesday, August 27th, and I haven't been out to the garden in a few days, so I'm going to walk out here and see how things are going. I actually see a catbird right there as I'm walking out. So let's see what's ready to pick and how things are growing. Okay, come in here. I'm going to point out first off that where you see that catbird, the acorn squash has really fallen down badly. So let's take a look at this. The whole trellis has come down from the weight of the plant and the weight of all these acorn squash down here. So let's take a look. So they say you can tell when acorn squash is ready because the stem kind of dries up. So these stems, this one's almost ready. This one's definitely not ready. So that'll be something to keep an eye on, but yeah, that's not so good. And there's some acorn squash on the ground right there. All right, let's see these sunflowers. I don't know if I've actually mentioned in my recent videos because I've been forgetting to come out here and make some videos. Sorry about that. I lost a lot of the sunflowers to, I believe, squirrels came out here and knocked a lot of branches off. And you can't really tell on this one, but let me come over here and you'll be able to clearly see what I'm talking about. So this one right here, you can see there's hardly any flowers or branches remaining on it. That is due to squirrels. They have knocked off most of the branches. So every time I come out here, I'm finding them actually like knocked down. Let's see here. This one's still attached. But yeah, every time I came out here, I was finding them all over the ground, which is kind of annoying. Looking from the left, we'll start over here today. We've got lots of sunflowers all over. The Romas are beginning to peter out. I am still getting Romas here. I am picking them when they look like this when I find them. You can see there's no more blossom end rot, so the Tums treatment worked really well, although there is some just regular nasty bit on the top here. That's just like end of summer nonsense with temperature changes and what have you. And I think birds are also to blame. Like this kind of reminds me a little bit of a bird peck, but I'm not sure. So actually, as I'm talking to you, I brought out my harvest basket so that I can put things in here while examining the garden and not having to run back and forth. So I am starting to see less green tomatoes on these. I am still seeing things eating tomatoes, which is so fun. But I actually came out here over a week ago now, and I started trimming off any parts of the tomatoes that didn't have flowers or anything on them. This actually does still have flowers on it right there, so I'm going to leave that be because there's still a chance it could make some fruit. But any branches that are not doing anything, I have started removing so that I can start clearing this out because I'd like to get this bed back. And I don't know that I'm going to put anything in for fall, but I have the option to. Oh, what is this? Mess here. All right, let's turn around and see how this is going over here. Hang on a second. Sorry, my kid is crying about really stupid things in the background. All right, down here amidst more dang weeds, I'm just gonna step on them as I'm talking to you. I am still getting zucchini. I didn't know if I would still be getting zucchini. If you remember a while ago, things were not looking so great, but they are still producing zucchini. Although something really annoying that I'm going to point out is the edge of the bed is right here. See, here's the metal edge of the bed. This dang zucchini is all the way over, touching the other bed, and it was actually covering some of my peppers there, which is kind of frustrating. Also here we've got this cherry tomato that I started out with, and that has gone underneath this, and you can see there's actually cherry tomatoes right there. See if I can move the camera where you can see it. There's cherry tomatoes right there. And this is actually nasturtium I just saw, and the nasturtium should be over here somewhere, and it has gotten pushed out of the bed all the way over to there with more cherry tomatoes by this darn zucchini. So I'm actually gonna grab this as I'm talking to you. So there's the cherry tomatoes and nasturtium, which is not in the bed, and there's actually a really large kind of empty spot here from the zucchini pushing everything. I'm gonna throw this tomato in the basket behind me, and I'm just laughing at this. But this particular tomato plant is kind of really mingled in everywhere. Like, here's more tomatoes on this side of the bed, so they're here, all in there, and they're growing up over here. So let me step aside here and see how things are over here. So we've got, this is part of that cherry tomato plant, and here are cherry tomatoes here, which I will harvest after the video. And there's more there, and I did kind of prop them up. There's a mosquito on my arm. I did prop them up onto the trellis here. As the cucumbers have been dying back, the tomatoes are kind of taking over, and that's actually kind of a good way to fill it in, so that's kind of cool. It looks like my cucumbers got over whatever their issue was, because now they're making flowers like crazy, and these are all kind of newish leaves. These are kind of new. They don't have that mosaic thing going on like the older leaves did. And there's actually a cucumber right there. It's not very big, but it's there. And yeah, I'm curious. I'm going to find some more cucumbers in here. Let's see. There is one right there hiding out. And yeah. All right. Oh, and this tomato is actually sneaking like over into whatever this annoying plant is that's creeping over here. Ugh, it's really annoying. This grass is tickling me as I'm talking to you. But it did remind me to turn around, because I can check on the rosemary that I haven't checked on in a while. You can see it's really crowded in this corner. And there's a rogue tomato plant right here to go with it. But the rosemary is looking good. It's full of, this is not clover, this is mountain sorrel, which I don't mind mountain sorrel. It's like a good kind of weed, and it's edible. So that's why I'll allow it, because the kids actually enjoy eating it. So it can hang out. As long as it doesn't get unruly, then I start picking it out of the way. But overall, that's not too bad. It's one of those native things that you think would become a pest, and it's not actually. So I've left it going, oh, it's going to bug me later. But there are so many worse things than mountain sorrel, like creeping Charlie and invasive ornamental grasses. My neighbor actually cut back his side, which is nice. But my side, even though I did this not that long ago, you might remember the video where I really took down a lot of this, it's all back. So that's really, really annoying. Moving over here, I'm going to try not to step on this. Oh, look. The sunflower that I was so happy came up over here has gotten pushed down by the weight of the zucchini, which I was not expecting to happen. I don't know if this will still go back in an upright position whatsoever. I'm going to try and, hang on, moving things around. I'm going to use the zucchini leaf as a prop to try and help get that to go back in an upright position, but it looks like something has been chewing it. Like, there are leaves bit off of this thing. The top of this is missing. I'm gonna guess a rabbit probably chewed it, or maybe a squirrel that's been getting into the sunflowers elsewhere. I don't know. All right, taking a look here, the continuation of the crazy cherry tomato is all the way over here. I did not realize it had gone into the path here. That's, yeah, go that way so I can walk. The marigolds. So the marigolds, you'll remember, took their sweet time to come up, but now they're looking really nice. I don't know why I had to wait so long for marigolds, But one of the reasons you grow marigolds is they are a companion plant that helps bring in the predators that will kill the bad things. I think it brings in like a predatory wasp or something, but it's supposed to help around the tomatoes because it prevents hornworms from taking over your tomatoes. So marigolds, no hornworms. I have not seen any hornworms ever in my garden. It might be because I always grow marigolds. And you can see I actually have a pretty good sized bed. If you look at this one right here, this is me just putting my arm like almost straight out. So this is almost chest high for me, and I'm 5'7". So these are some really robust marigolds this year. They don't usually get this large. I've never seen them get to be big like this in my garden. So that's kind of exciting. Peeking down here, I have some hot cherry peppers, and they are doing fabulous. Sorry that you can't really see that on the camera. This one right here has something going on that I might have to throw it away, but I will just harvest it because I have at this point. So I didn't like that these grew into the pathway. So I'm kind of bracing this against my leg as I'm talking to you and trying to pop these things. I think a mosquito just bit my ankle. So the cherry tomatoes, or not cherry tomatoes, cherry peppers, I'm getting tongue-tied now, they really grew into the pathway this year. And they didn't do this last year, and I don't know if it's just because everything kind of went flat in here, if it's from like the squirrels jumping on it, or any number of things, but I even tried staking some of them and it didn't work all that well. So I will have to come up with a better solution for that next year. I'm thinking I might put those in tomato cages next year. I think that would be a really good solution for that. So I'm telling myself by telling you to tomato cage them next year, so that when I rewatch these videos prepping for next year, I could be like, oh yes, put that in a tomato cage. Now, as I'm looking at tomatoes over here, I am starting to see dieback. So it is getting to be that time of the year. We're the end of August, almost September, where I'm going to start seeing the tomatoes doing a lot of this because we're getting colder nights and they just kind of do this at the end of the season. I do have lots of tomatoes in here, and I can't fully get to most of them. They're kind of really far in there, but I want to point out that I've got the purple cherries doing great, and the reddish ones, like this tomato here, looked kind of reddish, and it's been chewed up by a bird. And also the one here. So the ones that are easily accessible on the top here are getting bird pecks, but the ones that are kind of further in are not. I'm going to drop this in my basket, and I'm going to try and creep around. Oh, so something I was actually telling somebody the other day is, if you notice, I have not talked about weeding in my garden beds this entire year. With the exception of, let me come over here so that I can talk about this. With the exception, I can't talk, of dogbane, which has been coming up in this bed here, and I probably should be wearing gloves because this stuff is poisonous. Except for that, which is coming up underneath the bed because it used to be established here before we put this in last year. So you see one's right there. That is the only thing this entire summer I have had to actively weed. So I've had like the occasional weeds over here, like when I just came out here, I did pull a weed over here. But except for those few weeds, the overwhelming amount of veggie stuff has kept the weeds at bay. So I thought that was really fascinating, because you'll remember seeing videos of me like weeding the pathways and everything, but the density of the garden has actually worked in my favor for weeds. I've had very few weeds to deal with, And I've had no issues with my plants producing things. I mean, some plants are crowding each other a little bit more than others, such as the zucchini issue, which zucchini is zucchini. It's going to do that. But overall, the dense planting has been really working in my favor here. I just noticed as I'm talking that the eggplant has really gone over. So the eggplant is there, but it's grown all the way into the pathway. So you can see the size of this stone here is probably close to 2 foot wide, and it is across that and in the pathway. So that's kind of annoying, and I'm going to have to figure out why it's over here and how to keep it from doing that next year, because I did have it up on a stick and that originally did work, but then it like kind of fell to the side and went this way. In general, it looks like everything kind of went to the left. So if you remember this bush type tomato plant, it had kind of fallen over to the left here, but it looks like something's been eating it, or it's dying back, because when I came out here a week ago, didn't film, sorry, but when I came out here a week ago, it's still like a plant like this. It wasn't a big hole in the middle of the bed here. So that is kind of interesting that all of a sudden I have this hole when I didn't before. And coming over here, I want to talk about what's over here because I've ignored this for a while. But this is my bok choy. So the bok choy that I said months ago had died, and I was ignoring it and just kind of letting it exist and not doing a thing about it. It's gone to seed. So that's my ignored bok choy has gone to seed. So I could probably take seeds off that and grow it again for next year if I want. I've got this stupid thing. I do not know what this is, but it is everywhere and it is making me crazy and it is hard to pull and I hate it. Creeping through my jungle here, this is my leeks, and the leeks I also allowed to go to seed. So now I'm looking at it, there's no leaves. It's just a stick. It's a stick in the ground with nothing else going on. These have not finished going to seed yet, but I guess I can save the seeds, like if I put it into a paper bag, a brown paper bag, then it will drop seeds when it dries out, but it's not dry yet. It's still very much springy, so I'm kind of curious how that goes. This is actually kind of a fun view. Looking over here, I have more recent bok choy, and though they're not bok choy, leeks, more recent leeks, and they look like a leek. They have not gone to seed. And here's more of that stupid dog's bane. Ugh. And creeping through, before I leave this corner, the purple petunia things are looking happy. And I do not know what happened to this lantana. It has not given me flowers in over a month at this point. And last time I checked in on it, I was like, oh, look, it's got little sprouty seed things. Little buds, and it does have buds on it, but it has yet to give me flowers ever since the initial time of giving me flowers. Versus while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to creep over here and see how the other one is doing, because I have not looked at this lately. I have weeds in the way, because why not? Alright, so this lantana is still flowering all summer long. So I really like this plant, and when I buy for next year, I'm going to have to look back at the videos of what I bought and go, this one is the way to go. I think this is the label for it here. Nope, that's the whatever this is here. So this plant has flowered all summer and is still looking amazing. And it's actually kind of trailing now, but I really, really like this, and I would buy this again. So this is the Mini Famous Neo Light Blue Calibrochua? Calibrochua. I am probably saying that totally wrong, but that's what the tag looks like it says. Alright, so I'm going to stick that in there. And then the pink one, Calibrochua, the Chameleon Tart Deco. So that is very heavy. Best in fertile, well-drained soil kept evenly moist. Well, it does get rained on, or not rained on, watered every day. This thing, did it have a tag? Oh, it does have a tag hidden in the back where it's there. Hot-Blooded Red Lantana. So the Hot-Blooded Red did really great all summer. Recommend that if you want flowers all year. Excuse me. I just got a tickle in my throat. Alright, so this is the bed from my neighbor, and there are tomatoes. I've actually harvested tomatoes for him the other day and took him over to his house. He was very happy about that. And over here, I did harvest him one of these peppers. Somebody had given me peppers. I'm sorry, I don't remember their name. I got so many private messages that week that I can't remember who is who anymore. Sorry, I really need a drink of water. But there is a little pepper here. This is the pepper plant that she said she had gotten that multicolored pepper from the grocery store, and she grew them, and it did give me an orange pepper already, and I gave that to my neighbor and he really liked it. So thank you to the lady who gave us this pepper plant. It's doing great. And then to the other person who gave us a flat of little tiny pepper plants. They are doing things. They are not producing peppers, but they are actual plants now. So there is a chance that they could still do something before the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes. And there is a sunflower coming up in here. All right, checking in over here. The chives are looking limp and sad. I do have parsley here. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about the parsley having swallowtails, so I kind of want to peek at this while I'm thinking of it to see if there's any hiding in here, just because everyone keeps talking about swallowtails in their parsley. I don't see any though. Alright, this is my original coleus, and for some reason it's looking kind of sad today. Like, it's kind of looking like it's fading out. So I don't know if that's the change in weather and temperature or what, but you can see it kind of is more limp than usual, and it is getting daily watering, so I don't really know what's going on with that. But it is getting close to the time of year where it's going to get moved inside. Oh, look at this. It just had a piece that broke off and died. So this plant is kind of going wintry. Like, look at this. So I'm going to take this piece off here, and I'm going to put that in water in the house and see if it will root for me, because I do have another baby of this in the house. So these two little pieces, I'm actually going to pick them up and put them over here by my gate so that I do not forget to take them in. Actually, I will put them on top of here so I will really not forget them. Oh, while I am looking at these beautiful purple flowers here, I have two different colors. So somebody told me, and I don't know if it's true or not, that there is more than one plant in a pot when you buy these. And I'm wondering if that's true, because most of the year it looks like this, but then midsummer to now it's like this deeper purpley color. So I am curious if that's a thing. And this is clematis. I had to really think about that for a minute. So that's my clematis, and it does it on both sides. So beautiful flower right there, and creeping around here. It was doing it here, but now I don't see any more flowers. It's pretty much died back. Looking down here, the baby coleus is still looking good and happy. My thyme plants are kind of squished under here, and let me pause for a second to move over. Okay, sorry about that. My kid had a message from me. All right, we've got the acorn squash in here, and I've got some little squash, I've got some big squash, and they are looking crazy. So that's what's hanging over the fence that I first started the video with. And then let us take a look at the center here. So my 11-foot tall sunflower has kind of fallen over a little bit here and there. But look at the main stalk of that. The main stalk of that is this. This branch here is part of it. This branch here is part of it. So all of this is one giant plant, which is kind of insane. And this goes back to what I believe is the squirrel. So it's also kind of heavy. So when I pick this up, it's kind of heavy. And it could be squirrels going for the seeds. I'm not really sure. But it could also be the weight of the plant has just kind of pulled it down. I don't know why. It just, that is what it is. And we've got lots of cherry tomatoes here. My purple cherries, looking great. I've actually lost more of these to overripeness than the birds, which is a feat in itself because birds. And here is one of my mint plants looking pretty good. So my pathway is kind of blocked here by the marigolds, so I kind of have to shove this over and finagle through here to get to this side. So there's the other side of the cherry tomato patch, and over here has been ransacked by birds again. This was a black crim, and I do want to say to the person who gave me the black crims this spring, they were delicious. I took some to our scout meeting this past weekend, and we had them in burgers, and people were just straight up eating them because they thought it was sweet and delicious, and they're like, oh my goodness, what kind of tomato is this? It's delicious. This one is my Estiva tomato, and I have managed to save a few more of these from the birds lately, but most of them have been bird bitten. Excuse me again. So there's that. I do have like a really itty bitty tomato right there. I don't know why that's so much smaller on the same plant. Put these all in one hand. So you can see this little one here is almost the size of the cherry tomato I have in my hand. This plant is beginning to seriously die back, and I don't know if it's a water thing because this area has never gotten as much water as the others. But now that this plant mess has fallen down, there should be getting more water over here. But I'm wondering if there just was not as much water over here just because this giant thing did block a lot of stuff. So that was a big problem with the watering situation. Okay. So I think that pretty much covers all the garden stuff this week. I'm going to try to sneak back through this mess here. Oh my goodness, there's just, it's like a jungle in here. I've got jungle with the tomatoes. Oh, and the peppers, that's the thing I forgot to talk about. So under here somewhere, I do still have peppers. These were supposed to be yellow, and I did have one turn yellow, and it rotted before I ever got to pick it. So I've been picking them green just because they don't seem to make it. Anyway, I hope that you are enjoying following along with the gardens and everything that goes along with it. If you'd like to continue learning about what I do here and following along, please subscribe, and see you next time.